Welcome to Algebra 1, Unit 1, Day 1, Measures of Central Tendency. Our objectives in this unit is to be able to analyze descriptive statistics to determine the implications for the real-world situations from which the data derive. Also, to be able to compare, contrast, and analyze data, including data from real-world situations. Let's begin by looking at a situation. A student takes 8 tests in a quarter with the scores as follows. Since the teacher uses the mean to find the grade, the student is only earning a 78. How would the student's grade change if he earned an 80 and an 85 on the next 2 tests? If the teacher used the median to calculate the grade, how would that affect the grade? So to answer this question, we need to look at the statistics. Statistics is the study of the collection, analysis, interpretation, presentation, and organization of data. A statistic is one of the measurements describing the data. We use measures of central tendency. Notice central, think of center, to look at some of the statistics. The mean, median, and mode are the 3 measures of central tendency. These are used to describe a set of data by identifying the central position, there it is again, the center, within that set of data. An observation is just one of the values in the set. For example, in this first set of data, so let's call it first set, one of the observations is 92. If I write down all of the data, that would be all of the numbers in the set. So all of the data for the first set is 92, 78, 90. I'm looking at this list right here. 89, 48, 80, 48, and 98, probably in the order that the student took the tests. The second set of data is the same as the first set, so I'm going to copy that first set of 8 test scores. See, the 8 tests, but then he earned an 80 and an 85, or plans to earn an 80 and an 85. So that's 2 more observations for that data set. Now to answer this question, we need to look at the measures of central tendency. So our first example asks us to use situation 1 from above, calculate the following measures of central tendency and the range. Now, the mean was already calculated for us in the problem. The mean is 78, but let's review how to calculate it. The mean is the average. It's one indication of the mathematical center. So for the first set, finding the mean would be to add all of the 8 data points, 92 plus 78 plus 90 plus 89 plus 48 plus 80 plus 48 plus 98, and divide by how many we have. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And that gives us, well, approximately 77.85, but because we're rounding to the nearest whole number in all of these, we're going to say approximately 78. Now, in order to find the mean for the second set of data, where we've added the 2 data points, we would do the same thing, but add the extra 2 and divide by 2 more. However, we're going to use this second set. We're going to use the calculator to help find the mean for the second set. Let's review how to find the median. The median is the middle value of the data when arranged numerically. So first we have to take this first set and arrange it numerically. That means arrange it from lowest to highest. What's the lowest number in this data set? 48, and I have two of them. So I'm going to put 48 and then 48, and I cross them off as I go, and then continue up to the highest. So then 78, 80, 89, 90, 92, and 98. Now, it's tricky when we have 8 values, because there is no value in the middle. Here's 1, 2, 3, 4, the bottom half. Here's 1, 2, 3, 4, the top half. So what number, which data point, which observation is in the middle? Well, if there is nothing that's in the middle, we take those two numbers that are in the middle and we find the mean or the average of those two. In this case, it's 84.5, and that's the median. Again, for the second set, we're going to see how to do it on the calculator. The mode is the value or values that occurs the most. So in the first set, looking at this set of values, which one do we see happening the most? 48 happened twice. No other numbers happen twice. So in the first set, 48 occurs the most. In the second set, where we add 80 and 85 onto our list, now I see 80 is also occurring twice. So in the second set, there are two modes, 48 and 80. The range is the largest value minus the smallest value. In the first set, the smallest and largest can be easier seen where we've ordered them from smallest to largest. So the smallest is 48, the largest is 98. 98 minus 48 equals 50. The range of the first set is 50. In the second set, did we add numbers? Did we include data points that were below 48 or above 98? No, we didn't. So the range will be the same. 98 minus 48, which is 50. 50 is the range. Now we will use these calculator instructions to find these measures on the calculator. The instructions tell me to press Stat and then 1, so I can either press the number 1 or Enter when 1 is highlighted, and it gives me the list. I'm going to enter the 10 data points from the second set in this list. 92, Enter. See, there's a little 2. It means I'm at the second entry. 78, Enter. Now I'm at the third entry. 90, and so on and so forth. Now that I've entered all 10 data points into my list, I press Stat. I arrow to the right under Calc, and I want the first selection, 1 ver stats. And on some calculators, I may need to press Enter a couple more times. And there's my information. X with the bar over top, X bar, is the mean. And notice that's the first number given, 78.8. So we can say 78.8, or because we're rounding to the nearest whole numbers, we can say 79. So see how the mean changed when we added a couple more data points. If we scroll down, there's a lot more information that it gives us, including the minimum data point, 48, some other things that we'll talk about in another lesson, the maximum, which is 98, and then the median, MED for median, 82.5. So the median in the second set 82.5. See how that's different from the median of our first set. Notice how the mean was higher in the second set, but the median is lower in the second set. So remember, in the calculator, the mean will be written as x with a bar over top. X bar is another way to write mean. The median in the calculator will be written M-E-D, the median. The mode and the range were not given in the calculator, but the min and the max were shown, and all we have to do is subtract them to find the range. Let's look at one more example. Situation number 2. The ages of the people in Mrs. Robbins' preschool classroom are the following: 3, 4, 3, 4, a lot of 3s, 4s, and 5s, 78 and 59. Those are probably the teachers. Which measure of central tendency best describes the age in this classroom? Explain. Now, if we go to our calculator and we want to re-enter data, remember we press Stat and then Edit, so number 1. And I have this list already. I can go up and clear it, enter. And then I can start to enter this data. 3, enter, 4, enter, etc. So after we enter this and we use our calculator to figure it out, we see that the mean, or x bar, as it's shown in the calculator, is approximately 12 if we round to the nearest whole number. The median, or MED, as it's shown in the calculator, is exactly 4, and the mode is also 4. Notice how most of the preschool students have the age of 4. So which measure of central tendency best describes the age in this classroom? Well, the mean is 12. How many people have the age of 12? Nobody does, but lots of students have the age of 4. And if we're talking about the ages of people in a preschool classroom, it makes more sense to see the number 4. So probably the median or the mode would be best because of the situation that we're in. This is a preschool class. Nobody would be 12 years old. Not even the teacher. How about the second question? Explain why the mean is not always a good description of a number set. Well, why do we think the mean is such a different number than we see here? Well, when we average, we add up all the numbers and use all the numbers and then divide. Well, remember that we said probably the teachers are these old ones, 78 and 59. These are called the outliers. So most of the people are much younger. These 2 people of all of these people have strange or abnormal numbers compared to the rest. So why is the mean not always a good description? The mean can be skewed by outliers. Maybe now you take a minute to write a short summary. Can you compare and contrast mean, median, mode, and range? Maybe give an example for when you might need to use each measurement. See you in class.